This is Alexandra Villarroel Abrego and welcome to another episode of Alexandra TV. In this week's episode, I am diving into the meaning of one of my favorite quotes in the new version of my book Beyond Beauty, which will be released at the beginning of next year. And the quote is, "The most beautiful woman in the room is not always the most confident woman in the room, but the most confident woman in the room is always the most beautiful woman in the room." What this means is that you can be the most physically attractive woman in any room and still not be the most confident woman there. However, if you are the most confident woman in a room, you are always the most beautiful woman in that room. You see, it might sound a little cliche, but at the end of the day, it's true. It's inner beauty that matters, because outer beauty, you can be the most physically attractive woman in the world and still be very insecure and still want to always do surgery or always change things about yourself. Or maybe you're always in bad relationships with men that mistreat you because you're not honoring your beauty properly. And this is why they always say, really, because it's true. Beauty is in the inside. That's the beauty that truly, truly matters. And in this week's video, I want to share with you what are the 4 rules to always being the most confident woman in the room and therefore the most beautiful woman in the room. Now, if you're a man watching this video, you still can watch, because you can take all these rules and apply it to you as a man and be the most attractive man, the most beautiful man in any room wherever you go. I know that for me personally, anywhere that I go, I'm always very aware of the fact that there will be a more beautiful woman than me, physically beautiful. However, wherever I go, I am the most confident woman there. I know for sure that I can be standing in a room full of models and I will be the one that is the most confident out of all the women, which makes me very attractive. And I've seen that over and over again, men coming to talk to me, men approaching me when there's a lot of beautiful, amazingly attractive women around me, and yet they always choose to come and talk to me. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is simply because I want you to understand that it's true. You have to be the most confident woman in the room to be the most beautiful woman in the room, because at the end of the day, what's in the outside, it really doesn't matter. So if you're watching this and you're saying, yeah, but I'm not very attractive, I don't find myself, attractive like the women in the magazines, all of that, it really doesn't matter. It's the essence that is within you that really matters. So here are the 4 rules to always being the most attractive woman or man wherever you go. The first rule is that you always have to find ways to increase your value. You always have to find ways to learn new things, to grow, to become a better person. And the reason why you do this is, of course, for you, but it's also because when you increase your value, you know what you bring to the table. When you know what you bring to the table, you know your worth. And that people can feel it. You see, the way that you see yourself is how other people see you. So if when you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, I might not have the most physically attractive facial features, but at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know where I've been, I know where I'm going, and I know what I know, and I know what I bring to the table. That makes you a very, very powerful and attractive person. This is a power that physical beauty and physical attractiveness cannot compete with, because that power is so strong and so valuable that you are always going to know what you bring to the table, and you're always going to know that what you bring to the table is very hard to find elsewhere. And that's, again, people can feel it. I know that for me personally, every single day, every week, every month, I always try to learn something new. I read so many books. I always attend conferences and seminars. I'm always trying to learn, not only in my field, in the self-help field, but also of history. I try to learn everything and a lot of things about history, about the world, about different cultures. Lately I started taking a course in playing guitar, simply because I thought, I don't want to die one day and not have learned at least one song, at least how to play one song in a guitar, So I'm always trying to find ways to increase my value, and you should do the same. The second rule is very simple. You have to always take care of your body. Take care of what goes into your body, what you eat. Are you always eating junk food? Are you working out? Are you active. It's so important because all these things, they reflect in your body, not only in your body, but also in your aura. And people can feel that, and you can see it in your skin. Someone who eats only junk food, you can see it in their skin, in their hair. You can even see it in the shine that's in their eyes. So it's very important for you to always take care of your body and to honor your body, to eat the right foods, to be active, to work out. It's so important. The third rule is to carry yourself with strength, with dignity, and with beauty. And this is especially for women. I think it's so important as women that we carry ourselves with a lot of grace. Don't walk into a room looking on the floor with your back all bent over. It's very important for you to walk in straight with your head up high. When you meet someone, look at them in the eye, shake their hand, not like a dead fish. So many times that I've shook people's hands and it feels like I'm holding a dead fish. You should give a strong handshake. It's so important. You have to carry yourself in the way that you want people to talk to you, in the way that you want people to approach you. I remember when I was very young, at around 19, 18 years old, I used to dress very provocatively. I used to show a lot of skin, and I can see today the way that I get approached by men compared to how I used to get approached by men back then. The way that men approached me back then was, to them, I was a piece of meat. I was not a valuable woman. But today, the way men and the quality of men also that approach me shows is simply a reflection of what I have inside of me and the way that I carry myself. So always make sure that you carry yourself with strength, with power, with dignity, and with beauty. And finally, the fourth rule, and this one is so important, and it's for both men and women. For women, it's to always be in touch with your feminine energy and always have a lot of feminine and especially feminine sexual energy inside of you. And for men, it's to always have a very strong masculine sexual energy inside of you. In the times that we live in, this is a very misunderstood concept. This does not mean that you have to do certain cliche things that society teaches you that feminine is or that masculine is. Masculine doesn't mean that you have to be a macho. Feminine doesn't mean that you have to be just a submissive woman who doesn't even have a say in anything. Absolutely not. To the contrary, feminine energy is a very strong energy, but it's an energy that exudes beauty, that exudes sensuality. It's very important, especially for all the working women like me. In my day-to-day life at work, I have to use a lot of my masculine energy because at the end of the day, as humans, we have both masculine and feminine inside of us. That's what allows us to balance our lives. So when I work, I have a lot of masculine energy, which is leadership, which is force, which is power, which is, direction. But then at night, I always tune into my feminine energy, which is where my power really lies. So I let go of all that strength and hardness, and I try to be as soft and as feminine as possible. And for men, there's a lot of men out there that are more feminine than masculine. But the problem with that is that you will attract very masculine women and women that will make you feel like less of a man. But if your masculine energy was more present and more there, really, you would attract women who are more feminine. And I think that at the end of the day, as women and men, as a woman, I know that for me, I can only be with a very, very masculine men. I need that in my life. I need that complement of energy. And I know that most men out there, they love to be with a feminine woman. So I think that our strengths as men and women is to really tap into our energies, and our masculine energy and our feminine energy is so, so, so important. Now, of course, I'm not going to spend hours on this topic of the feminine and masculine energy. If you want me to make a video about this topic, if you think it's interesting, please leave a comment down below and let me know if you want to learn more about the feminine, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I think it's a topic that's so interesting and it really fascinates me. So that's it for today. We will see each other next week for another Alexandra TV. Did you like this video? If so, here's 3 very simple things that I want you to do. First of all, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel because you get free videos every single week. So of course you don't want to miss that. The second thing that I want you to do is I want you to go on my website, alexandravillarroel.com, and subscribe also to my email list, because every week I send you content by email that you don't see here on Alexandra TV, but it's free content with coaching techniques, strategies, so you don't want to miss that either. And the third thing that I want you to do is I want you to share this video. Share it on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, email it to a friend, or even call a friend and say you need to go watch this. As Maya Angelou once said, when you learn, teach. So everything that you learned today, make sure you share it and you teach it to someone. I look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of Alexandra TV. And until then, don't forget to love life, others, and yourself.